वर दिसत नाही आहे काय?
Just share the screen. Now you are getting the screen.
मैम बीसीसी वाईसीसी क्या है?
दिख रही है आप लोगों को?
Yes, ma'am, दिख रहा है.
Okay. So now we are discussing the cloning vectors. Okay, what is cloning vector? Exogenous DNA to be inserted, then there is a storage and manipulated mainly at the DNA levels. So here we are using the desired DNA which is inserted and where it is stored and amplified or manipulated in the okay. Plasmid vector, bacteriophage vector, cosmid vector, phage vector, then the phosmid vector and the BAC, and this is BAC for the bacterial vector, this is YAC for the yeast vector, Y is for the yeast. So plasmid has a vector. So where is the plasmid? Plasmid is an extra chromosomal material present in a bacterial cell is known as a plasmid vector. Bacteriophage vector is a vector where there is also the DNA is present, and which DNA we can be used as a their plasmid like a vectors. Then cosmid is a one of the vector which is found in a cell. Then the phasmid means phage means again the bacteriophage related is this phasmid. This phasmid vector is there. Then the phosmid vectors are the foreign vectors. BAC vector, it is related to the bacterial vector, YAC related to the yeast vector. So these are the different types of a vector which are used for the cloning. But best vector is a plasmid and a phage. So here plasmid is a best vector. Why? Because it is the extra chromosomal material present in a bacterial cell. So we are not going to disturb the own DNA material which is present in that bacterial cell. Secondly, the genetics or the genes which are present on the DNA and the same with the plasmid. So similar type of a gene are coded on the plasmid as well as to your own host cell DNA. Thirdly, this plasmid is replicated very easily inside the host. So these are the different types of advantages related to this one for this. The second one is a plasmid vector. Plasmid vectors are double-stranded extra chromosomal DNA molecule, circular and self-replicating. So what is a plasmid vector? Plasmid vector is a plasmid vectors are a double-stranded extra chromosomal DNA molecule, circular and self-replicating. So plasmid vectors are double-stranded extra chromosomal DNA molecule, circular in shape and a self-replicating power. So plasmid is a double-stranded. So all of you know that how it is to be double-stranded. Extra chromosomal material. Then it is a circular and self-replicating power. Advantages of the plasmid as a vector: it is a small, easy to handle. It is very small and easy to handle. Second one is a easy to purification. Third one is the straightforward selection strategies. So you can be select the straightforward which type of the gene is to be the inserted. Useful for the cloning small DNA fragment that is less than 10 kbp. K means kilo, B means base, and P means pair. Base pair, kilo base pair. Okay. This is kilo base pair. This is the unit is a kilo base pair. Okay. So here plasmid is a very small, easy to handle, easy in purification, straightforward selection strategy, useful for the cloning in a small fragment. आप कितना भी small fragment cloning के लिए use कर सकते हो by using a plasmid. Disadvantages: less useful in cloning in a large fragment. If you you require DNA as a large fragment, then it is not to be the useful. Then you go for the other type of the vector. But here the plasmid is used for the that the 10 kilo base pair like a fragment. So you have to the taken it for that one. Then the disadvantage is less useful in the cloning in a large DNA fragment. So if you have interest in large DNA fragment, then it is not at all useful the plasmid as a vector. Then you have to go for the different type of a vector. So what is plasmid? Advantages of plasmid. So this is the only the 1 marks question in the board. What is plasmid? Plasmid is a double stranded extra chromosomal DNA molecule circular self-replication. That is only the definition regarding the plasmid. Then the advantage is the small and easy to handle, easy purification, straightforward selecting strategies, useful for the small DNA fragment. That's all regarding this one. You are getting the full marks for only these 2-3 sentences. Okay, so it is very important regarding to that. Then next, plasmid vector for a cloning. Why we are using this plasmid vector for the cloning? It is contain the origin of replication. That is very important factor. That is that vector must contain the origin of replication. So plasmid contain the origin of replication. Origin of replication means from the replication start. That is the origin site of the replication. ORI site बोलते उसको. That ORI site is very, very important for the replication. If you are inserted your desired gene in that vector and it is not to be replicated, then all are to be the not good. So it must be the replicated inside the host cell. So there must have the origin of replication. Allow for the preparation of the independent in the host genome. So they must be the independent inside the host. They are not mixed with their DNA or the other genetic material. They must be the independently in their genome. Then the contain the selective markers. They have to the selective markers. Select of the cell containing a plasmid is a twin antibiotic resistant and blue white screening technique. So these are the two selective markers present in a plasmid. Twin antibiotics resistant. Twin means two, antibiotics means antibiotic, resistance means they are not showing any effect towards that antibiotic. So these are the antibiotic resistant factor which is present in a plasmid. Secondly, blue and white screening. Blue and white screening means here you can be easily screen that the plasmid with the twin antibiotic resistant factor by the blue and white screening technique. So you are getting a blue color growth of the bacteria and white color growth of the bacteria. And on the basis of this, you can be easily distinguish between these two antibiotic resistant factor which are present in a plasmid. Then it contains the multiple cloning site, MCS. Okay, it contains the multiple cloning site. There has the multiple cloning site. You can be add one or more than the two desired gene in a same vector. That is a multiple cloning site also there. So if you want to the two character at a time by using a biotechnology technique, you can be, for example, there may be the fusion between the horse and a donkey. Then we have the mule. Then if we are having a cow which is having a good height, good color, and even same with the good milk giving capacity. So you have to take on the multiple character for the cloning, and this multiple character of the cloning, it also can be takes place with the help of the plasmid vector. It is called the MCS, multiple cloning site. So this is asked the multiple cloning site in the MCQ. Which vector having a multiple cloning site? The plasmid vector have a multiple cloning site. Then the easy to be isolated from the host cell. Once it is grow inside the host cell, you must be the isolated it again from the host cell. If the technique is not to be easy, it is very difficult, then it is very difficult to get isolated from this host cell. But it is in case of a plasmid, it is very easy to get to isolated from the host cell. Plasmid ranges lies from the 1 kb to the 250 kb. So here 1 kb base pair to the 250 kb base pair तक आप लोग उसका range use कर सकते हो. Then we are having another, that is the PUC 8, then this is 2.1 kb, then the TOL is a 117 kb in size. This is also the one different type of plasmid which can be used according to the size we have to require or the desired gene we have to insert in that one. So according to the size you have to choose the plasmid. Okay, so plasmid must have the origin of replication. It must have the independent capacity in the host genome. It must have the selective marker. Then It contains the multiple cloning site. It is easy to isolate it in a host cell, and there is various ranges from 1 kb to the 250 kb of the plasmid vector. Then in your syllabus, of only the one vector is included, that is the PBR 322. PBR 322, it is one of the first vector to be developed in the 1977. So this is a history regarding where it is to be developed. It is P indicate for the plasmid. Remember, PBR 322, P is indicated for the plasmid. BR indicated for the name of that scientist, that is Bleuler and Broges. This is the name of the scientist which is indicated. 322 distinguish it from the other plasmid produced in the same laboratory. That is a PBR 325, PBR 327, PBR 320. So these are the three different type of that is a vector produced in this laboratory, but out of which the PBR 322 is most important factor which can be easily to be used. So P is indicated for the plasmid and BR indicated for the name of scientist, and 322 is a number where it is to be produced in the laboratory. So number of that plasmid which is produced. Then it is having, that is a PBR 322 is having the 4363 base pair in size, that is less than to the 10 kb. So it contains of the very less base pair, that is a 4363 base pair in size, which is less than to the 10 kb. It carries the two set of antibiotic resistant gene. We know that this PBR or the plasmid always consisting of the two set of the antibiotic resistant gene, that is ampicillin and tetracycline. These are the two selective markers we are having on a plasmid. Okay, so ampicillin and the tetracycline are the two antibiotics, and these two antibiotic resistant power having in a plasmid. Okay, PBR 322. In the PBR 322, the two sets of antibiotic resistance genes are present, that is a ampicillin or a tetracycline, can be used as a selectable marker. So you must want the one selective marker present in your vector. Either it may be ampicillin, it may be the tetracycline, and it is both are present in a plasmid. Each of the marker gene carry the unique restriction site, and insertion of the DNA into this site, the inactivate the other specific marker site. So once you are interested in a insertion of a DNA in the vector, in that time you have to choose the one of the marker, that is the ampicillin or tetracycline. If you choose the ampicillin as a marker, then you have to insert your DNA into that site, and at that same time the other site must be the inactive, and in that site we have to inactivate that marker. So only the inserted gene is to be the work with that unique restriction site. It has a high copy number. It must be produce a very high copy number. They are about the 15 molecule present and transferred to the cell, but it can be increased up to 1000 to the 3000 by the plasmid amplification in the presence of a protein synthesis inhibitor, that is a chloroamphipenicol. So once you inserted the DNA inside that vector, it must be amplified it into the number of different copies. So it may be the 1000 to the 3000, but at the same time the protein synthesis may be there, and there may be the inhibitor which is used for the protein synthesis is to be the chloroamphipenicol. If you stop the protein synthesis, that time you have to use the chloroamphipenicol is one of the antibiotic to the protein synthesis inhibitor. So the plasmid amplification easily takes place inside the vector. The vector comprises the DNA derived from the three different naturally occurring plasmids. That is the AMP gene from the R1 plasmid, TET gene from the R6-5 plasmid, and ORI gene from the PMB1 plasmid. AMP gene means ampicillin resistant gene. Ampicillin is an antibiotic. TET means tetracycline resistant gene. Okay, so this is a tetracycline resistant gene. And origin means from where it is to be the origin of replication gene. Okay, so these are the DNA derived from the three different naturally occurring the plasmids. So this is the diagram for the PBR 322. So it is a double stranded circular self-replicating power inside the host cell and produce a new type of the plasmid. So we are having a different types of a site for the insertion of the desired gene. So this is a PBR 322 plasmid. Okay, the base pair is a 4361. Okay, so all these in the circular structure, only the 4361, 4361 base pairs are present. And these are the different site where you can be the inserted. You can be inserted the different types of the desired gene inside this one. But you must be sure that that is to be the ampicillin resistant or tetracycline resistance, and it must be the related to the origin. So it is going for the replication. So these are the different types of genes. They are given the name here from where you can be the cut with the restriction enzyme and insert your desired gene, and then you are getting the new type of the uh, gene. Then you are to the vector which is introduced into the your host cell for the replication. So see a tetracycline resistant genes are present from this area to the from this area. Then this is for the different gene region area. This is for the different gene region area. This is for the different gene region area. So you can be the inserted more than the two interested gene in at a time in the PBR 322 vector. After that one, we are having the one easiest technique how the insulin is to be the produced. Okay, the earliest use of the biotechnology in the pharmaceutical manufacturing is use the recombinant DNA technology to modify the Escherichia coli bacteria to produce the human insulin, which was performed by the Genentech in the 1978. So here this is one of the institute. The name is a Genentech. Genentech, we बोल सकते Genentech. In the 1978, which are introduced this human insulin into the bacteria. This is the name of the bacteria, Escherichia coli. So they are inserted the human insulin in the bacterial vector and getting the recombinant DNA technology for the production of the insulin. But what is insulin? Insulin is a hormone produced by the beta cell of the islet of the Langerhans of pancreas. So inside the pancreas, we are having a cells that is the islet of the Langerhans, and they are producing the beta cells, and this beta cells is nothing but the hormone, and this is known as the insulin. So insulin is a hormone produced by beta cell of islets of Langerhans of pancreas. It was discovered by the Sir Edward in 1916 while studying the islets of Langerhans. Then people do not produce the necessary amount of insulin, have the diabetics. So if the person is not producing the initial amount or the enough amount or the necessary amount of insulin, the person is called as a diabetic patient. For we require the insulin, and insulin is controlled. Insulin is controlled to get that sugar into your remove from your body. But with the help of insulin, it is circulated, and the sugar is continuously circulated inside the blood and getting the energies to the cell. So sugar is must. Okay, so insulin protect the sugar inside our body. If the insulin is the very less amount, then the person is caused with the diabetes. From where the insulin is produced? Insulin is produced by in a pancreas. Which cell? It is to the islet of the Langerhans. And which are the cells? It is the beta cells. And these beta cells is nothing but the hormones. So insulin is a hormone produced by a beta cells. Okay. So see here, this is the human cell. Inside a human cell, always there is a chromosome. Inside the chromosome, there is a DNA. So you have to the first isolate this DNA. So you are isolating this DNA here. Okay. So then here the DNA get isolated. After the isolation, just you require the insulin producing gene. So here insulin producing gene is there. This insulin producing gene you have to cut with the restriction enzyme, and other undesired gene you have to remove. Okay, so this is the restriction enzyme which is producing the insulin gene. Then take a bacterial cell, that is Escherichia coli. It is having a own DNA, and this is the plasmid DNA, circular extra chromosomal material, that is a plasmid. Then you have to take this plasmid, again cut with the restriction enzyme in the one site. There is number of site in the restriction enzymes cutting to that plasmid. Then you have to insert that insulin gene in a plasmid. So you are getting this type of a recombinant vector. So this is the recombinant vector where the plasmid is there and the insulin gene is there. So insulin is joined together with the restriction plasmid DNA. Then the DNA is transferred again to the host cell, that is a bacterial cell. Again you have to insert it this recombinant DNA vector inside this the host cell, and allow this to the grow 1 to 2 cell, 2 to 4 cell, like this way they are growing. But when they are growing, they are producing the bacteria with the human insulin. So inside that one you are having that insulin. Then you have to extract that insulin from this bacterial cell and use that insulin as a antibiotics or the vaccine for the diabetic patient. So in this way, with the help of recombinant DNA technology, you have to use a insulin production. After this one, you are having a next is a gene therapy. Gene therapy is introduction of a gene into the existing cells to prevent the cure or the wide range of the disease. If the human being having any type of a diseases, then you have to use the gene therapy to cure that one. Okay, it is a technique for the correcting the defective gene in the responsible for the disease developing. See here, if there is a defective genes are present in the DNA in this image, then they are the scientist has to the curing this defective gene, and then there is a possibility of the good gene. So it is a technique for the correcting the defective genes responsible for the disease development. If they are the family having a history to having a disease with the one to the second one, second to the third one, then you have to the correct that one by using the gene therapy. The first approved in a gene therapy experiment occurred in a September 14, 1990, just recently. The first approved gene therapy experience occurs in the September 1990. It was the when the Ashanti De Silva was treated with the SCID. This is the one type of a disease where the hormone is not to be secreted inside the body, so that they have to use the gene therapy for the curing this one. Then you are having a two type of gene therapy. It is a somatic cell gene therapy, and second one is a germline gene therapy. Somatic cell gene therapy or the germline gene therapy is to be the first one is the somatic gene therapy. Okay, it is a therapeutic genes it transfer into the somatic cell. Somatic cell means, for example, introduction of a gene into the bone marrow cell, blood cells, skin cells, etc. So these are the somatic cells. Somatic cell means skin cells, blood cells, bone marrow cells. So you have to introduce your gene into this one. So if you want to the cure the any blood disease, you have to introduce this into the blood cell, then you have to introduce in the skin cell, or you have to introduce into the bone marrow cell. So it is a therapeutic gene transfer into the somatic cell. So here you have to introduce this gene into the somatic cells. Somatic cells means the cells rather than to the germ cells. So here the skin cell, bone marrow cell, blood cells you have to the use for this one. Will not be inherited lateral generations. But in the somatic cell gene therapy, it is only the curable for only that generation or that person. It is only for that person. The person is cured, but it is not inherited from the generation after generation, because it is takes place in a somatic cell level. So it is not to be the transferable at all. So it is not inherited from the generation after generation, because it is in a somatic cell. Skin cell never to be transferred. Then the blood cell never to be transferred, bone marrow cell never to be transferred in the inheritable system. So you have to not to only that person is cured from this the therapy, but it is not to be the inherited. At the present, all the researchers directed to the correct genetic defects in the somatic cells. Now the number of the researchers going to the work to correct the genetic defects from the somatic cells. Then second one is the germline gene therapy. Here the therapeutic gene transfer to the germ cell, that is the egg or sperm. You have to the use the germ cell, that is the egg or sperm, for a gene therapy. So you have to introduce the insertion of the desirable gene, remove that the undesirable gene, or you have to the correct the gene which is to be the producing the disease. You have to take it from either the sperm or take it from a egg. If the mother is suffering from, then you have to the change in the egg cell. If the father is suffering from, then you have to change it express in the sperm cells. Okay, once it is present in the egg cell or the sperm cell, it is to be the inheritable, because the next generation is comes with the that one the inheritable character, so that it is the pass on to the lateral generation after generation, because it is takes place in the germ cell. So it is very good and safe. For the safety, the ethical and the technological reason, it is not being the attempt at present. So for in case of a safety or technological reason, because the number of the person require the good characters in their child, so they must go for the gene therapy. But it is not for that one, it is only for the curable diseases. If the person or the mother or father or the family history suffering from the any disease, only in that times they are going for the germ therapy by the using a germline gene therapy. So germline gene therapy means the therapeutic gene transferred into the germ cells, that is the egg cell or sperm cell. And somatic gene therapy means here the transfer of the gene into the somatic cell, that is the bone marrow, blood cell, or the skin cells. So these are the two different types of gene therapy. First is the somatic cell, second one is the germline. So always remember this, the what is somatic cell gene therapy, what is the germline gene therapy. After this one, you are having the genetically modified organisms. Genetically modified organism is known as a GMO. It is an organism those genetically material has been altered using the genetic engineering technique. So you have used that organism for the genetic material, you have to altering that material for this organism by using the genetic engineering technique, and we are getting a new one that we call the genetically modified organisms. Then the organisms that have been genetically modified include the microorganisms such as the bacteria, yeast, plant, fish, and mammals. So you can be the modified, this one is a microorganism, then the bacteria, yeast, plant, fish, and mammals. You can be the modifically organism. So you all of you know that the tissue culture, all of you know that the we are having a transgenic animal, transgenic plant. So all of you go through in the previous chapter also. Source of a genetically modified foods are to also the widely used in a scientific research to be the producer useful goods other than a food. So here genetically modified, firstly we are interested for the food because it provides good food. Nowadays the scientists are interested useful for the goods, not to be the foods, because they are having a good characters. Then first is the transgenic plants. So this is known as a transgenic plant. Okay, GMO plant. Transgenic plants have been engineered for the scientific research to create a new color of the flower to create a improved crops. So sometimes they are going to produce the new color flower. Sometimes they are going to the introduce into the new color into the flower. Then they are created the improvement in crop, high yield, tall plants, etc. Then in research, the plants engineer to help the discover the function of a certain genes. In case of that one, the plant engineers are going to discover the certain functions of the genes. For example, seedless papaya, seedless grape, sugarcane containing lot amount of sugar. Then the BT cotton, we are having a cotton nowadays, which is a transgenic plant. So we are having it in the BT brinjals. Then we are having a corn, sweet corn, etc. and etc. In the big bananas, then the seedless oranges, the seedless grapes, etc. So these are the different type of a character or different type of a genes which are produced in that plant. On the way, these the knock out to the gene of the interest and see what the phenotypic is developed. So here you have to the first know the phenotypic character of that plant, and then you have to take an interest. Suppose we want a tall plant, suppose you want a dark plant, suppose you want a different color of the flower, suppose you want a small type of the fruit, or suppose you want to the big type of a fruit, seedless fruit, seed having fruit, then the different type of the shape of the fruit. So these are the all the phenotypic characters. Then we have to go in for that one and change that phenotypic character by using the genetic engineering. Another strategy is to attach the gene to the strong parameter to see that the happens when it is to be the extra express. So supposed to be the some genes are very strong, and it may be the produce the different types of the expression. Sometime suppose you just want to the BT brinjal, but there may be the different character is to be the express, that is the color change of that brinjal supposed to be the okay. So these are the some genes having the strong promoters, and these can be the happen with the BT plant, cotton, and the BT brinjals. Then the these are the now it is to be removed from that one. Then GM crop. In agriculture, genetically engineering describe the crops are created to the several desirable traits. So it is to be the pest resistant crop, herbicide resistant crop, then it is resistant to the harsh environmental condition, then it is having to the valuable product, then it is having a drug valuable such as the drug and the pharmaceutical productions. So plants include the algae, jatropha, maize, and other plants have been genetically modified for using the fuel and known as a biofuel. So these are the genetically modified crop consisting of the first is a resistant to the pest, second one is a resistant to the herbicides, they are resist to the harsh environmental condition, they are having the improved production, they are having an increasing in nutritional value, they must have the good value for, they are also having a drugs value. Then nowadays we are having a one plant, it is jatropha, which is used for the biofuel production. See, genetically always the better than to the chemicals. GM cotton, this is the one of the BT cotton. So GM cotton with the Bacillus thuringiensis, cryogens is registered to the cotton balls, cry encoded in the insertional protein. So here cryogens means if there is a gene is present, which is when the any insect go to there and eat, they are to be dried due to the intestine is to be the burst. So in this way, the cotton plant is protected from the insect, and so there is a good production of the cotton in the genetically modified plant, and that name of the bacteria is a Bacillus thuringiensis. Then advantages of the GM plant: reduce use of the pesticides and other toxic chemicals, desired characteristics of the food and achieve in a shorter time, improve the nutritional value. Many people rarely on the GM food for a medicine. Gene technology is the best solution for the problem in the world hunger. So these are a few advantages of the genetically modified plants. Reduce the pesticides or the toxic chemicals. And then the desired character of the food is achieved in a shorter time. Improve the nutritional value, that is the vitamins, improvement in the vitamins, proteins productions in that plants. And it is a gene technology is the best solution problem in the